Good morning, friends. This is your old girl, Melanie Rose, here to share your daily aspects. Today is Wednesday, February 2nd, 2022, 2/2/2022. And it's the third day of Imbolc, or in other words, the day of solar Imbolc. This is the holiday that is a midpoint between winter solstice and spring equinox, where we begin to celebrate the return of the sun's light and warmth as we see spring just beginning to actually spring on us. So welcome back to the sun, and happy Imbolc to all of you. I hope you find a way just to get out and enjoy the sun's return and the slightly longer, warmer days. We're planning to have some heavy snow, I think, tonight. So, those warmer days at this time of year tend to be intermixed with some heavier weather, but it melts off pretty quickly and we get back to enjoying our lives. The sun is in Aquarius today, as is the planet Saturn. Saturn rules Aquarius along with Uranus. So the sign of Aquarius, when the sun is in Aquarius, we take on some sun Aquarius characteristics. And, that really just shines a light on our desire to use our minds, our mental processing power toward developing better futures for everybody, better circumstances for everybody. Aquarius is very technology interested, very science based. So we're going to want to see some tried and true, but perhaps somewhat new ideas that we can apply toward not just living our best lives, but helping everybody live their best life. And Saturn, of course, is that planet that is dedicated to your structural integrity and your sense of duty to maintain those structures. So, when we're in Aquarius, that Saturn influence is really there, but with an eye toward what can we do to refine, streamline, and make these structures work better for us. The waxing crescent moon today begins in Aquarius, but it moves into Pisces very early this morning. And this represents a shift in the heart and home from that Aquarian Saturn vibe of taking a look at our foundations and seeing what can be refined and streamlined, more into a playful, intuitive, creative, and imaginative mindset. What Aquarius and Pisces still have in common is that they love to collaborate with others, and they're looking for the benefit of everybody. But Pisces is a little bit more, it's the end of a cycle, and it's tying up old business so that we can make space for a new, which is great because that's where we've been with the moon in the last few days. We're 2 days past the new moon now, and we're in this waxing crescent phase where hopefully you've set your intentions with the new moon, and now you're beginning to make plans to see some of those intentions manifested or partially manifested, at least for the full moon that's coming up in a couple of weeks. So right now the intention for us is to be setting intentions and making plans. Okay, let's take a look at these planets and get an idea what kind of energies we're dealing with today, and then we'll go ahead and get into some interpretation. As always, the sun is at the top of the list. The sun represents the outer life. This is who you are when you step out the front door, the person that people first get to know when they meet you, and also who you are when it comes to your workplace environment, your social life, and your civic life. The moon relates it more to your inner life. This is more about your relationship with yourself, how you feel about yourself, but also those things that you just notice, think, feel, and know, and how you are engaged in your home life, whoever's there with you and wherever that happens to be. Mercury is your personal planet for the intellect, especially the day-to-day thoughts, plans, and communications that you make and the running around that you do. Venus is your personal planet for love and money, or in other words, how do you relate to those people and things that you value the most? And Mars is your personal planet for that sense of initiative, whatever the fire is in your gut that is getting you going at this time. And I just want to point out once again that the Sun is under Saturn's influence. Mercury, Venus, and Mars are all in Capricorn, which is also ruled by Saturn, and as well as Pluto is in Capricorn as well. So, and Saturn is in Aquarius. So, these are all very Saturn influences, and again, Saturn points both inward and outward to our structural foundation, our structural integrity, the firmness of our foundations, and our duty or our responsibility toward maintaining them. Jupiter is on the page today. Jupiter is our planet for growth, positive expansion, and good fortune. It also relates to like higher education, long distance travel, and bigger business ventures. After Jupiter comes Saturn, and we've talked so much about Saturn lately, but again, it's about your structural integrity and your duty to maintain those foundations. Uranus comes along and asks us to do things a little bit differently, and thus will bring with it some changes. And Pluto is the planet that's bringing us through these extremes of experience that eventually bring us through a transformation, so we get to evolve as human beings. And there are a few different aspect energies on the page today. I'm just going to go ahead and go over this as we get into the aspects. I've divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon sheds light on our inner lives. These transits and aspects are rather brief, and they have more to do with the ambient energies that bring about our moods, feelings, emotions, and intuitions. On the solar side of the page, I address the sun's aspects and all the other planets because they take longer and they have more to do with who we are and how we behave in our outer life. I'm going to start with the moon today. Central Standard Time, friends. At 4:59 in the morning, the moon made ingress to Pisces. And this brings in creativity and imagination to our most valued collaborations, okay? Pisces is a water sign. It is ruled by Neptune. During this 2.5 day transit, we are more sensitive to how people are doing around us. We're more sensitive to the field of emotions and intuitions regarding those people that are around us in our homes, in our neighborhoods, in our cities, etc. And we get creative and we get imaginative because of that sensitivity, and that helps us build on those collaborations we're doing. Then at 4:33 in the evening, the moon makes a sextile with Mars. So moon in aspect with Mars, that's initiative from the heart. That is heart-based initiative, home-based initiative. It's about what we can do to drive things forward in our heart and home. And that sextile aspect indicates cooperation, and cooperation makes things happen. So take advantage of this momentum to get some stuff done, especially when it comes to your heart and home. And then at almost 6 p.m., 5:57, the moon makes a conjunct with Jupiter. So moon and Jupiter together usually brings out a pretty good, happy, expansive vibe where we feel the growth and, understand that we're learning and growing, and we feel pretty good about it. So it's a good time to hang out with friends, cook dinner for a bunch of people if you feel like doing that. Initiative taken at this time is blessed with good fortune, okay? So the conjunct aspect really amplifies both the heart and home on the moon side, and the good fortune and expansiveness and the yearning for education and just broader experiences. So any initiative you're going to take toward those broader experiences from the heart, it's a blessed time to do that. And it occurs to me that these overlap a little bit. So, taking advantage of initiative to get things done. And what happened there? Taking advantage of this initiative to get things done, can really be amplified at this time and bring us some extra good fortune in our efforts. Then, what's this one? This evening at 11:30 p.m., the moon makes a sextile with Uranus. Now, moon with Uranus brings about a call sort of to do things differently. That's a change of heart or making changes in the home space. Changes in the heart and home can open us up to valuable insights and information at this time now. 11:30 at night, I'm usually in bed by that time, drifting off to sleep. So, perhaps that's where you're at. And, I would suggest having some sort of recording device or pen and paper next to your bed, just so that as you're falling asleep, you are opened up to some sort of insight or information, you have a place to put that so you don't forget it in the morning. And then at 12:35 a.m. on Thursday morning, the moon makes a sextile with Venus. So moon in aspect with Venus has us feeling really open and receptive to love, attention, affection. And the sextile, Venus just came out of retrograde. It's in its direct normal fashion. Sextile is cooperative and it makes things happen. So fresh starts are really available right now, especially in our most valued relationships. If you happen to be up in the middle of the night and you want to have a conversation with somebody that, your relationship to them is important to you, it might be a good time to think about what you want to say to them, or if you're awake with them, go ahead and have that conversation. In terms of, what you can do in that relationship to make it more valuable to both of you. On the sun side of the page in the ongoing column, we have Mercury retrograde conjunct Pluto. And first, I just want to address Mercury retrograde. Mercury is stationing now. It's going to go direct tomorrow. So yay for Mercury going direct. We'll be out of that Venus and Mercury retrograde phase. Mercury, Venus, and Mars, and Pluto will all be in Capricorn, driving us forward, creating initiative to get work done that will improve our circumstances, and by improving our own circumstances, improve the circumstances of others. So don't be surprised. To me, I'm already feeling increased initiative since Venus came out of retrograde. Mercury comes out of retrograde. Don't be surprised if you just feel this real boost of energy to get to work and move forward, taking care of the things that you need to take care of. Mars brings in initiative. Mercury tends to speed things up. Venus makes you think about what you want to get out of things. Pluto brings in transformation. All of those planets are in Capricorn, and Mercury is going direct tomorrow, so be prepared. As far as Mercury in conjunct with Pluto, we're going to be dealing with this through the 12th. Mercury is going to go direct tomorrow, so it's going to start traveling back toward Pluto, and we're just going to be in this energy for another week or so. Right now, the conversation is internal. Mercury retrograde, we're having these conversations with ourselves, and conjunct tends to amplify. So we're probably really feeling that conversation with ourselves, especially the ones that are asking us to be transformed and evolved. Not just tiny changes, but like that big inner change that often comes with, or we hope at least comes with, sort of the beginning of the year. you know, here we are in the second month, but to me, this is the beginning of the year. The beginning of spring is the very beginning of the year. So this is the time to really be focused on, you know, what seeds we want to plant in our hearts so that we can manifest things in our outer life that are different from what we had before, that are transformed, that are bigger and better for us. So we are being evolved we are being challenged to evolve our consciousness, or perhaps we're being evolved to challenge our consciousness. But either way, we're doing that consciously at this time, okay? Our mind is very much on the changes that we're going through, the work that we have to do, the realizations that we need to integrate, and understandings that we need to integrate in order to become transformed people. The outcome is totally worth the struggle, but that doesn't mean that this isn't work. So, you know, acknowledge the work that you're doing, especially inner work, the conversations you're having with yourself to bring about your own evolution and transformation. That's heavy duty. That's very Capricorn energy. And if it has you feeling tired, even though you don't even know exactly, you don't even always notice all the work that you're doing internally, you know, come to notice it and be an acknowledgement of it, and thank yourself and be as gracious and kind to yourself as you can at this time, because the transformations are inevitable. You know, all we can do is seek to get through them in the most conscious way possible. So that's it for today. Coming up tomorrow, Mercury goes direct. Woohoo! And we just talked about that. Friday, Saturn will reach its aphelion, which is its farthest point of the sun, and that kind of indicates sort of a prolonged or even a delayed effect of these changes that we're making to our structural integrity. It might take a little longer for those things to come into effect in our lives, but it's coming to us, okay? And also on Friday, Mars will make a sextile with Jupiter, very positive time to act on, you know, the initiative that we're taking, the momentum that we're getting, that's coming in with that Mercury direct. And the sun is going to make a conjunct with Saturn that day, making everything, all of this stuff, way more intense. Because let me remind you, Saturn is not just here, okay, and it's here, it's here, it's here, and here. So maybe a little less influence than it has been in the last few days, but make no mistake, we are working on that structural integrity, both inner and outer. And then on Sunday, Mars is going to make a square with Chiron, so you see we still have a pretty active week ahead of us. And then next Tuesday, we'll have that first quarter moon in Taurus that takes us out of our planning phase and into our acting phase, so that we can get some things done, make the calls, do the groundwork. It helps us attain at least part of our goal and our intentions that we set by the full moon a week later. So that's it for today's aspects. Thank you for hanging out with me and hearing me out on these things. If anything comes up for you while you're listening to this, I'd appreciate it if you just leave a comment, or, you know, thoughts, questions, communications that you want to make to me about the work that I'm doing here. I appreciate it very much, Jill, that you let me know when there's something more to be gotten out of the tarot card that I throw, because sometimes I just I see it and, you know, I say what I see, but I'm not seeing everything. So I appreciate all of that input. And I am in a habit now of throwing a tarot card at the end of my video. If you have gotten this far, go ahead and give me a like, a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share this with somebody if you think that it will resonate for them, especially those of us who are struggling with these transformative changes that Saturn is bringing us through right now. Sometimes it just helps to know that you're not alone, and this shit is happening for everyone. So the tarot card that I'm keeping on the side here represents the second 1/3 of the sun's transit through Aquarius. We're in the second 10 days of that 30-day cycle. And Six of Swords represents sort of moving away from a situation that was harmful or confusing or just caused conflict in your life. You know, we need a little bit of conflict. Capricorn says we need mountains to climb and problems to solve, but we can also cut out extraneous conflict that is not helping us to serve this purpose of the transformations that we're going through, and moving away from it. You know, sometimes it can feel really yucky and bad. Unfortunately, for a lot of us, you know, the conflict that we go through comes from people that we really, those relationships that we value, those people that we really care about. So it can feel kind of yucky to move away from that or create distance. But, you know, especially while you're working on yourself, while Mercury is in retrograde, while Mercury is working with Pluto anyway, you know, be sure to guard yourself against extraneous conflict at this time. And that's what that says to me at this time. As for today, we're still looking at this pretty heavy Saturn influence, this Mercury conjunct Pluto stuff that we're going through the 12th really has us working on ourselves on the inside. I feel it. I hope that you can feel it so that you can bring some consciousness to the changes that you're going through. Moon in Pisces, and it's a waxing crescent. So, you know, waxing means we're taking things on, we're having new ideas, making plans, gathering resources that we're going to need to enact those plans. That's all very positive stuff. And there's a lot of really positive stuff on the lunar side of the page today that brings it together into a really collaborative vibration where we're feeling creative and we're using our imagination and the initiative and momentum that we have to really move things forward, especially in the heart and the home. So with all of that said, I'm going to throw a card here. Eight of Swords. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you are trapped. To me, this always speaks to sort of self-illusion. Standing in a puddle of water, you kind of feeling some emotions. This is not a completely trapped situation, though. You have the power to move away from a situation. You're also surrounded by the tools that you need as far as thoughts, words, and ideas to set yourself free. Okay, so if you're struggling to take advantage of the momentum and the imagination and creativity, if you're feeling stuck because, you know, you have things that you have to do or certain ways that you have to be for certain people, understand that those are ropes you've tied yourself up with. Okay, understand that, you know, you don't have to be in this sense of separation and isolation. All you have to do is work a little bit to set yourself free. And that is what I have to say about that today, friends. I appreciate you showing up here and hanging out with me while I go over the aspects for today. My name is Melanie Rose, and I will see you all back here tomorrow for more daily aspects.